Well, stop right there. I know. Before we get into today's video, please make sure you are liking them and you are following the channel, hitting that subscribe button down below. We are trying to hit 1K before the end of the year. That is my goal right now. I want to be at 1K. So definitely, guys, do what you can. If you are not already subscribed and you do enjoy the content, please hit that subscribe button down below. I can't even talk. But that's going to do it for me here, guys. Appreciate you listening. Jump on into the video and have a great rest of your day. Later, y'all. Yo, guys, what is going on? We are back today with some more discussion. We're going to be taking a look at the second unit I said we were going to in the Bardock video, which is obviously Purple UI Goku. Now, this guy was a really, really hype release, and actually, I want to pull up the banner. Here it is. This Legend Step Up Sign of Ultra Instinct, excuse me. This was actually really, really hype. Because this banner dropped and it had 4 brand new Sparkings on it. It had, obviously, the main guy here, UI. It had Jiren, who just recently got his Zenkai. And it had Blue Topo and Red Dispo. Blue Topo is... I have to do one of these videos on him because this guy is absolutely ludicrous. You know, when he dropped, the impact he had and the way he performed in the meta was just insane at the time. But Purple UI. This guy, at the time, he released in what I want to call one of the weirdest points in Legends. This guy came out, I believe it was November, right? Yes, November. Just a couple months prior, what had just hit the scene was the Zenkai for Red LF Gohan, who we've looked at on the channel before in a couple videos. And if you've played Legends, you know that character was just a menace for too long in this game. So he had a lot of competition upon release. He certainly was not the best unit in the game. I don't think anybody really thought that at the time. However, this guy was certainly a very prominent character because he had a lot of unique things going for him. So we'll scroll down here. And one of the first things I want to talk about is actually this right here. So, obviously, we can't see it here. But the character right here in this Imperfect Instinct, we have a unique gauge being discussed here. So, UI Goku was the first ever character to release with these unique gauges, which for modern Legends are actually pretty common. But at that point in time, this is a very uncommon, never before seen thing. So UI had his gauge where he dodged. And every time he dodged a strike attack, a tap attack, or a blast attack, it used 30% of it. So if you somehow got it quick enough, you were dodging 3. In my experience, you're typically dodging 2 attacks. But UI was the first one to do it, and it was very, very insane. Obviously, this is the UI, as we can see, that released against, or that was released as the version who fought against Kefla. We can see that in his LF as well as from this ability here, showing that they have extra Fusion Warrior damage. Good damage here, 60% is okay, 20%. For the time, these were good. Obviously now this is an aged character. As well as getting restoring ki and damage here. This is all actually really good for only 8 counts. That's not too bad. Looking over here at the characters, different things. He had the regular Strike and Blast card, and then the blue card was a very crucial part to this character. The blue card here had refilling their unique gauge by 50%, which would essentially allow for 1 extra hit to be dodged from Strike, Blast, or Tap attacks. It also buffed itself up some damage, which is always a good thing. The green card on this character is insanely strong. Card draw speed, damage, ki, health, and as you can see over here by these boxes, it is an AoE green card. So it's hitting in close range, which is just insanely strong for this character. And it combos into everything, which is always good. The ultimate / LF also is really good. Nullifies endurance, 100% damage cut. So that all was really good. And it gives itself a pretty sizable buff here when used, which is good. Holds a Strike and a Blast card. Now, UI, his Z ability also really good. Offense or Blast attack and defense for Saiyan, God Ki, and USS, which is always good. Any Saiyan Z ability is usually pretty good in this game. But the thing with UI, and we can actually notice it looking here, strike attack to blast attack. His strike attack is much higher. There's nothing in his kit that specifically outlines blast attack, but he's a ranged type. So these things were always a little niche to me. But this character on release was arguably the most annoying character in Legends at the time. Yes, Red LF Gohan was running around. He was a menace to society, and a lot of just things were going crazy with him at the time. But this UI was just very, very obnoxious to play against because of that gauge. Because it encouraged what is commonly known as the least fun thing in PvP, which is the people who just sat around waiting for you to do something. There was very minimal interaction because of that unique gauge, so what would end up happening is you just wait out until the gauge would go away, or you would force the gauge out, which then maybe you could end up getting Pv'd, and it was a whole thing. It was a very odd time for Legends as a whole when this guy came out. But he is aesthetically, his animations, and especially his ultimate and LF, are phenomenal looking. They were so hyped to watch. Obviously capturing that flip Kamehameha that he does against Kefla. All of it was insanely exciting. And this was honestly one of the best Legends Fest releases we've had. I think this was a much more exciting Legends Fest than the one we've most recently gotten. Outside of Ultra Gogeta Blue, because that's my favorite character in the game. But that's a different video for a different day. But yeah, this was a very hype Legends Fest release, this Goku releasing alongside all of these big characters. Is Goku relevant in the meta now? Obviously, no. This character is power crept beyond belief, and their ability to really impact matches, I would say at this point, is minimal. They are runnable. They are a usable character. We're not talking green Bardock levels of bad, but this character struggles quite a bit. So it's just something to keep in mind if for whatever reason this is a character you plan on utilizing. He does have a lot sort of working against him in a sense. So very important to keep that out and keep that in the back of your mind. You know, knowing that if you are going to utilize this character, you're fighting quite the uphill battle, because if he gets touched, he will blow up pretty much indefinitely. He's not the character he was on release, and even on release, he was very weak defensively. You were relying on that unique gauge to sort of keep you around. However, this character with a Zenkai, I think in the meta right now, could be massive. I think this is a character with huge Zenkai potential. Now, one conduit is we could look at it and be like, well, it's going to be a purple God Key, purple Saiyan buff potentially. And if that is the route they go, then yes, that is another Zenkai ability for purple Ultra Gogeta, who is the best character in the game and does not need any extra help. However, I do think this is a very interesting Zenkai to look at and maybe merit some things because of this extra Fusion Warrior damage, being that the best character in the game is a Fusion Warrior. This character really would just need a lot more damage, actually giving themselves some better damage reduction, things like that that are just going to help actually keep this character more relevant, and actually adding in some extra uniques instead of one unique being entirely dedicated to their unique gauge and their cover change. That was actually one thing that I will say this character does still have going that are good, is they have the universal cover change twice, much like Green Gogeta does. So very strong character to have in your backline waiting to swap it. But in my head, if I was looking at this kit thinking what would be a more modern sort of version, somewhere in the kit here we would include card draw speed. We would absolutely need that, just because if you're releasing without card draw speed in this meta, it's just kind of worthless. The green card, realistically, I don't think the green card needs anything. Maybe you can buff the damage a little bit, maybe you can buff the key a little bit, but this is still a really good green card. I would add some extra damage onto the blue card as well. Keep the 50% is fine. I wouldn't even touch the ultimate ability. The ultimate ability is really good. And the other thing that I think would be very, very good to have for this character, along with card draw speed, just because, again, card draw speed is just so huge. The other big thing that really should be in most modern kits nowadays is some sort of cover change nullification. Maybe add that in onto the green card. Maybe add that in onto the main ability here. We need some sort of way to have this guy actually be able to be utilized as a combo machine. Like, again, most modern characters have and are. You look at Blue 17, he's got that cover null. Ultra Gogeta, Beast Gohan, those are the top 3 characters in the game. All cover change nullification characters. So it is a very, very important thing that I think the game needs to make sure they include going forward. Just because, again, it's what's going to help keep these characters very meta-relevant. But that is going to do it for the discussion on Ultra Instinct Sign Goku from the 2020 Legends Fest. You guys, please let me know what your thoughts were on this character below. Did you love this character? Did you hate this character? Anything like that. And as always, please, please, please make sure you guys are dropping suggestions down below for any other characters you would like to see us sort of discuss, analyze, and talk about over here on this series. Again, still brand new. I'm still kind of learning what I want to do with it, but I hope you guys are appreciating it, this sort of like mix with gameplay and unit review sort of in a sense. I am actually going to start rating the characters, so I'm going to rate them across their relevance on release and their relevance today. So on release, I would absolutely say this UI Goku was a 9 out of 10 character. I think that they were phenomenal, and I think that they played a serious part in the meta they were in, as well as, you know, approaching forward from there on out. Now, I would probably say this UI Goku is a 5 out of 10. Again, he's not completely, utterly unrunnable, but he's borderline there. And I think if you are under a 5, you're an unrunnable character. But that is going to do it for this one, guys. Again, I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day. And as always, I will catch you in the next one. Later, guys.